G'day everyone, I'm Dave. Thanks for joining me, and today it is definitely worthwhile sticking around for this whole video because I am going to show you the results so far of my solution and how it is helping to change the way that you can get found, because remember, it's all about LLMs, okay? Now, as I've said in the past, we know the future. We know that LLMs are going to be the way that people conversationally search and get their information. They are answer engines, okay? So the age of searching for stuff yourself in the traditional form is changing rapidly. So in today's video, definitely stay till I show you the results. It's definitely very interesting, and I honestly believe that it's a turning point in being able to decipher what a business can do. And the exciting thing is, with the democratization that AI has brought, as I said before, all the cards in the game have been chucked up in the air. They're all now down on the table. There's new hands being dealt. But the overall change, the overall trend is happening very, very fast. In my last video, I showed an example of 200 years of cricket, okay? And that was a progression. AI is rapidly disrupting everything we do. So this video, I want to basically cover what my solution does right now and prove how it works. That's the exciting part. I want to put some context of the speed of change. I keep banging on about you need to get your head around AI. It is happening quick. 10 years is 10 months. This is sort of the breakdown that we're talking about. What used to take 10 years is taking virtually no time now. So speed is of the essence, right? And basically the context of the way that we're going to use and gather this information. So in the video today, I'll be using some examples. Now, the first example, just to put some context in what's going on, there's a big company called HubSpot. They're very well known in America. They actually run a podcast, and it's very interesting, their podcast. So let's go down and hear a little bit about what they've got to say, and I'll jump backwards and forwards. But this is putting my solution into context, which is with what is happening in the outside world. So we'll go down here and we'll have a look. Start this video.
A lot of time. We used to get a ton of traffic from Google search, the blue links, and all of that traffic is disappearing into the AI ether. It is disappearing into AI search. And what we are going to go through today is how to do AI search optimization. That really is the new thing you have to focus on if you want to get visibility for your brand. But the thing is, it's so new, it's really hard to understand, like, what is the playbooks? What should I do? How do I make sure that my brand, my product appears in AI search? We're here to give you the full playbook for AI search optimization. We are lucky to be joined by Asia Frost, works at HubSpot, one of the best minds on this topic. Asia, welcome to the show. I wanted to kick off with this. I was actually looking at the growth in AI companies in general, just how quickly they are growing revenue. And I thought this was a pretty amazing chart just to kind of help people understand what's happening. Because for the average business, sometimes I hear like two types of stories. I hear, wow, this is really starting to impact us. We don't know what we should do. We have decline in organic search traffic. What do I do? Do I do SEO? Do I optimize for Google AI overviews? Do I optimize for LLMs? And then you have other businesses who say, no, I don't believe this. This is going to take forever to actually impact us. It's going to happen over a very long period of time. And what this chart shows here is the time to reach 1 billion users. ChatGPT took 2.5 years. Google took 13 years. So ChatGPT did it 10 years earlier. And so it feels like this is telling us that users are voting with their thumbs and fingers and actually going to actually type all of their deepest, darkest thoughts into ChatGPT versus Google.
Yeah.
Okay, so just pausing it there for a moment. So the reason I showed that is it was an introduction as to this is what every business now has to face. Traditional SEO, the way it was done, is now out the window. You need a different method. You need a different method to be able to get the LLM. And as I've always said, it's about conversation. LLMs work in conversation. And if you've got a company and you know your product and you love your product, you want people talking about your product so the LLMs can pick it up. So we'll go back and we'll hear a little bit more about what they've got to say.
I think that's right. The more and more that I talk to our customers, the more and more I'm just eavesdropping in on people on the street, I'm hearing them say, I am going to ChatGPT. And my next question is always, and how much are you using Google? And they pause and they say, I'm using it a lot less.
This is the other one that I really caught my attention, which is what I'm showing here is a chart that shows the estimated LLMs versus organic search value. Like if you had told people in 2025, not even 2025, I remember when we did the first show, like I think around this in 2023, and when we were talking about the fact that this is going to really disrupt Google because it's a much better experience. So even if you pull this chart back to 2023, how quickly traditional search has become unbundled into these AI chat LLMs. Wild. It's actually one of the wildest disruptions that I can ever remember.
It's happened incredibly quickly, probably more quickly than we had anticipated. The other really interesting thing about this chart that you're showing is the total LLM value, which we can see is more than just the traffic that's being attributed to LLMs. In other words, someone coming from an LLM is worth more to us than someone coming from traditional search.
Okay, that is super important because, again, everything is turned on its head, the way things are done at the moment. As I said, you'll just be asking your agent, which will know everything about you. So with ChatGPT now, when you ask a question on a particular subject that you want to find and search, it will go, and it's based on what you like. It will remember what you like. This is not like just going to Google anymore. You need to have your company information in conversational form out there that can be picked up by the LLM. So we'll go into the next part of the video that they've got here. This is very interesting, and I'm only showing this because it really puts it into context as to what's going on. So we'll continue on down here, and we will have a look at this.
To some clarifying questions, and it gives you like a curated, actionable response. And that's just a holistically different experience. And I think what we're trying to tell people is that experience is different. How you measure that experience is insanely different. And you need to start aligning your company to think about measuring this differently. And I like what you were just showing there with like the share of voice stuff, Asia. Is it perfect? No, but I look at it as like, you're defining where we're playing. Here are like the types of conversations we want to play, and are we winning where we're playing or not? It's not like it used to be in SEO. It's like, oh, we're going to play everywhere and we're going to win. It's like, no, we have to really focus a little bit more, and are we winning where we're focusing? And I think that's like a big evolution in how this work is happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's tell people what they should do.
Okay. So I think the first big thing, it used to be that quality of your content was why you won. Now, I think it's about the specificity of your content. And that doesn't mean that quality doesn't matter, but if you think about how much more context someone is able to give in AI search, they're able to tell ChatGPT all these things about them, their business, their needs. Now, you don't just need an answer for what is the best X. You need an answer for what is the best X, considering that I am a manufacturing company in New Jersey. We've been around for 10 years. Our growth has recently plateaued. We're spending a lot of money on paid ads. And so that is an explosion of content for every persona and every problem that you have. And it means then, rather than thinking about, okay, how do I create these 1 to 3 really good pages on these head terms, you need to think about, how do I create these 100 to 300 great pages on all of these super long tail terms? And no one, including HubSpot, has the resources to do that if you have a blogger sitting at their keyboard typing out every word, which means your job as a growth marketer, as an SEO, as an AEO, whatever you want to call yourself, is, okay, how do I build systems for great content? How do I build AI-powered systems that will produce really great content at scale that is...
You just call me. That's what you basically do. That's what I've invented, okay? I could see this was coming. I haven't spent 25 years in the industry to know that it wasn't. So when I developed my solution, that's exactly what I knew. I've been talking about this for a long time now. You need to definitely have a foot in today. It's not about abandoning Google. Definitely, Google's still very important. but the way that we get the knowledge and the way we get the information, right? These are the top SEO companies in the world. HubSpot is a huge company. Everyone is scratching their head trying to work out how to do it, but they recognize that everything is totally disrupted and changed. So we'll go on and look at a little bit more, and I will have a listen to what ACS got to say.
About what it would be like to go back to the early days of SEO and just have an open field of experimentation. I will be totally honest, in the past couple of years, SEO had gotten pretty stale. We knew what worked and we just did what worked, and it was really predictable and it was really boring. And now we have a brand new open field again. And as everyone is starting to figure things out, that means that no matter where you're starting from, you could be a startup, you could be a big company like HubSpot. No one has a big edge right now. The edge goes to the people who figure out the new tactics the most quickly. And I think a lot of it is going to rely on AI-powered content systems, which, as y'all have talked about on this podcast, pretty much every time you talk, means you don't need a ton of people, you don't need a huge team or a lot of money to get these systems going. And so I really think I think that people in 20 years are going to be nostalgic for this period.
Okay, that is a really important point. A really important point. So that first part of the video was me just showing you what's actually happening. That was a podcast from, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago by the team at HubSpot. And they are talking about strategic strategies to try and get ranked on LLMs, because you can see by the graph that LLMs will be the way that people get their information. Now, I do agree, like I said, you need to also have a foot in today's space, because companies aren't going to realize the power of AI until they see it. Okay, so the first part of this video was me establishing to you guys that companies are now seriously looking at how they do this, and they're starting to work out the puzzle. I'm going to show you the solution to the puzzle. It's very cool. Now, before I do that, I just want to indulge myself, or indulge you. Sam Altman, as we know, head of OpenAI, has some interesting things to say. So I just want to show a short piece of a discussion from a podcast that he was on the other day with his brother, oddly enough, which I thought was interesting. And this is him talking about where OpenAI sits in the field. Now, we can see that OpenAI, by the way ChatGPT has grown and OpenAI as a company has grown, it is going to be a major player. It is going to be one of the major platforms that everybody uses. I've already discussed it in the past that all these major companies are going towards conversation and chat. That's the way we will interact with machines. This is just to back it up. I haven't shown much on Sam Altman talking about this, so I also just want to show a snippet of this.
What's the potential complete apparatus, or what's the apparatus at least in some period of time?
Yeah, I think what consumers want from us eventually is an AI companion, for lack of a better word, that lives in the ether and that is helping them in all these ways through all these surfaces and all these products, and that gets to know you and your goals and what you want to accomplish and your information. And sometimes you'll type in it inside of ChatGPT. Sometimes you'll be using a more entertainment focused version. Sometimes you'll be using other services that will have integrated with our platform. Sometimes you'll be using our new device. But what you will have is this thing that will just be helping you get done whatever you want to get done. Sometimes it's pushing stuff to you. Sometimes you're asking questions. Sometimes it's just there observing and getting better for the future. But that is eventually what I think it'll feel like. We don't quite have the right word for it. My AI companion is the best I can do right now.
Do you think we have the wrong form factor with all of our stuff right now? Computing?
Yes. Wrong is too strong of a word. I don't think we have the optimal thing. There have basically been 2 revolutions in computer form factors, interfaces, whatever you want to call it, that I think it really mattered. I mean, there was stuff a long time ago, but neither you nor I were paying attention. But in our lifetime, there's been this kind of a computer, a keyboard, a mouse, and a monitor, which is pretty awesome and pretty general purpose. And then there's been touch devices that you carry around. And honestly, those are the big ones. Both of those had the constraints of not having AI. And so there's things that you had to build or that you could rely on or not. If you have this incredible new technology, you can maybe get much closer to the kind of computer that exists in sci-fi.
That'll be the same intelligence, just in a new form factor, which lets you use it differently.
Yeah, but the form factor really matters.
Because it's with you all the time.
That could be one reason it really matters. If it's like with you all the time and full of sensors and kind of just understands what's happening and, is keeping track of a lot of stuff. And also if you trust that with a very small command, you can get something complex to happen and happen correctly, like you can just imagine very different kinds of devices.
What are the other?
Okay, so that is Sam Altman, the head of one of the biggest companies in the world that are producing the new type of product that will be voice-based. It's going to be conversation-based. It'll be listening to you. You will just send it off on a task. It's your own personal AI agent assistant. This is what's happening, whether we like it or not, guys. So we need to get our head around that. The other thing is, where do you position yourself in this marketplace? Where do you actually invest your time and money? So there's one very final little piece of this puzzle that I'd like you to listen to. And this is about trust and what people will actually use. And I think it's a good example of how things are going to change very, very, very rapidly and just become ubiquitous. And we won't even notice the difference. But in this case, all the major companies are doing it. So it will happen. So listen to this last little
Why would
here.
Meta think of you that competitively? Like, I obviously understand that, like, they probably just see that AI is the whole game, and like maybe that's
I
enough of the
assume it's
explanation.
just that someone that used to work at Meta said to me that, like, in the rest of the world, people think of ChatGPT as a Google replacement, but in Meta, people think of ChatGPT as a Facebook replacement.
Because people are just spending all their time talking to
Because they talk to it in a way that otherwise, and they like it more. Like,
time
they
is a
have a
scarce
better
resource and attention.
It wasn't a question about time. It was that maybe, of course there is time competition too, but that people, like, doom scrolling on the internet feels like it's making you worse. It may feel good in the moment, but it's making you feel worse. It's making you feel worse, a worse version of themselves. And I think that we're very proud of is when people talk about ChatGPT, they're like, I actually like myself better. It's like helping me. It's like helping me accomplish my goals. I feel like it's like, this was actually one of the best, nicest compliments I ever heard about OpenAI. Just someone said it's the only tech company that has ever not felt somewhat adversarial to me. You have like Google trying to like show me worse and worse search results and show me ads. I love Google. I love all these companies. I don't think this is like totally fair. You have like Meta trying to like hack my brain and get me to keep scrolling. You have Apple that made this phone that I love, but it's like, bombarding me with notifications and like distracting me from everything else, and I can't quit. And then you have like ChatGPT, and I feel like it's like kind of just trying to help me with whatever I ask, and that's kind of a nice thing.
Is there a way to do social that has like the interpersonal component and this energy?
A version that I'm curious about, although I don't know what this would mean, is like, could you have a feed that didn't have any default, but you could like kind of prompt it and say like, hey, I'm trying to like get fit.
Mm-hmm.
Can you like show me stuff that is like helpful to that? Or I'm trying to like learn more about current events. Can you like show me stuff from a neutral perspective that is not going to make me angry, but it's just like actually going to do it? And
Okay, this is a guy who has got the wherewithal to make this happen. If he said, oh, I'd like this idea, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to happen. It goes back and backs up my argument. The way things are currently done are going to change. AI will totally change the way we interact, and the answers that we get from AI are not going to be the manipulation of who's paid the most money, who is basically got the biggest checkbook. It's who is actually genuinely got a truthful product, and it can be found by the AI and answered for that person. Now, this is like tailored, customized search results, and this is why conversation is so important. Capturing the conversation of your business through my solution and then publishing that information, interaction point between your business and your client. The upside is growing and letting the other LLMs know about your business in conversational form. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some results of some of my sites that basically prove exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the important bit, folks. Let's have a look. Okay, so we can see here Sutherland Sally, which was one of the examples that I made, and I talked about owning the conversation. This was part of the British carpet company. They went and transformed their website into an AI website. Then they went on to own the domain of Carpet in Sydney, and then they decided that they wanted to own Sutherland. And because they're in that area, they started this AI assistant. Now, all these assistants were started about the same time 4 months ago. I am about to show you something very interesting. So the first thing is, once you've got an AI assistant in whatever business type that you want for your business, and we'll just use these location ones at the moment to own the location, right? So we can see that there's hundreds and hundreds of questions being asked by people. And here's an example, right? I forgot the sunscreen. Can you tell me where to purchase? I am at Cronulla Beach now. So if I punch that into here, we will go back and it will come back with an answer, or Sally will come back with an answer telling me where I can actually get my sunscreen. It knows I'm at Cronulla Beach, so it's doing the calculation of where I am. And here's a few places. Okay, Chemist Warehouse, it's got its phone number and its address. And as we know, what happens is once that information is actually given to the end user, so I've got my answer there, where to go. All right, it goes to a page here on Sally Answered. Now, as I've said, these pages are really for search engines. You know, people can actually click on them, if you know what I mean, but they don't necessarily have to click on them, but that's what they're there for. So if we look at that question, then we go and we see how many of these actual pages have been indexed by Google. And if we use Google as the benchmark of a company that is very strict on the way that it will index a page available to its people to actually look at, right? So if I now go back down into here, if we see, and we go to Google, we can see Sutherland Shire Online. So far, there's 17 pages, and each one of those pages has all this information. Dog-friendly cafes. Click on dog-friendly cafes. It will tell me all about dog-friendly cafes and everyone that's asked questions about dog-friendly cafes. It's engaging in the conversation. This could be your business. This page, indexed by Google, it actually answers the question that people want. All right, so if I go back again there, we can see that there are literally, 17 pages, there's roughly 10 per page. So that's about 170 pages that are indexed on Google. Now, if we actually look at when these were indexed, if I look at the Sutherland Shire results here, I'll pop myself up here, we can see that about 4 months ago when I started this, or not even 4 months ago, what is it, three months ago? Initially, there were some pages indexed, and that has actually remained fairly constant. Now, it has gone up and down a little bit, but we can see by the map here that it's fairly consistent. So this particular site, literally on day one, was indexed, and the pages, even though there are 621 pages, that will continue to get indexed. It is found that where it's at. So the pages that are produced by my solution are very, very much working right now, as well as working for the future. But like I said, it's the future that we've actually got this set up for. Now, I want to go and have a look at another site that I've done, and that is one for Khao Lak. Now, Khao Lak's in Thailand. Now, if I have a look here at Khao Lak, you can see I've got 20 pages. So there's over 200 pages that have been indexed on Khao Lak. If I go and have a look at Khao Lak here, Khao Lak Kuranda, okay, I will actually ask, I was thinking for a minute, let me go back to here. All right, there's Khao Lak Kuranda. Let me ask her, I need to buy sunscreen. I am at the beach now. Okay, so I'm just doing this as a comparison so you can actually see. I'll move myself back down here. So I created this AI assistant about the same time that I created Sutherland Sally. So my thoughts were, okay, Khao Lak is a fairly well-known place. A lot of tourists go there in Thailand, in the west coast of Thailand, in southern Thailand, and it's actually giving me the answer there now where the Google search is and everything else, right? And that would have outputted to the output page. Now, let's go down, and there's all the output pages there, all talking about Khao Lak. I don't need to translate. Now, let's go in and have a look at the pages here. So we can see that there are hundreds and hundreds of pages, all in the language that the page was asked in. So this page, which has been indexed by Google, right, in Russian, because the question was asked in Russian, and there's the answer, okay? That's all indexed. And if we have a look at their figures. This is pretty amazing, okay? So started out pretty well, got some pages indexed straight away. A lot of pages were found and then delisted. And then all of a sudden, Google has now realized, because they did a big shake-up, that these pages are informational, conversational, and valued. And that's why they've indexed them, right? So 248 pages indexed in 3 months on Google. Okay, then there's another place which is just not quite as well known called Cha-Am, which is near Hua Hin, just outside of Bangkok. So what I thought I'd do is I'd create a AI assistant for Cha-Am. Okay, so we've got the Cha-Am one, and I'm going to say here, I am at the beach and need some sunscreen. This is just a standard question. I'm at the beach and need some sunscreen. We will ask Cha-Am Chai and see what she says. And same deal, you can see here there's lots of questions that have been asked in all sorts of different languages that have created all the output pages. Okay, you're on the beach and you need sunscreen, local convenience stores, shops nearby. Well, there's plenty nearby there. Enjoy the beach. Don't forget to reapply sunscreen. Okay, so that page then, if we go back into here, we can have a look at the figures for Cha-Am. And we can see that Cha-Am has 22 pages. So there's 220 pages coming from Cha-Am that are listed in their native language, English, Thai, German, Russian, whatever the question's asked in. If we now go to here, that was Cal Lack, we can have a look at Cha-Am, right? Oh, I haven't got Cha-Am up there. Okay. Oh, yeah, there I have Cha-Am. Okay. So we can see here, 293 pages indexed by Google. It started out slow, but it then really gathered pace, right? As opposed to the Sutherlandshire one that was a bit slower, that took a while to build up. But this is the big one. Phuket. Phuket is a major tourist operation in the world. To have a site that has 544 pages indexed on Google since the 1st of April, and it's now only June, is a proof that my system works, okay? It works today. So regardless of AI coming, my system can produce that amount of quality pages. If we go back and we have a look at the sitemap here for Phuket, that backs it up as well. 31 pages, there's 300 and something pages, and keeps going, right? So whether the questions are asked in Thai, whether they're asked in English, all the pages have an answer in the native language and are actually ready to go. So you have a huge marketing potential. So to cut to the chase, okay, so that proves that my system works. There are 4 sites that have all ranked. Some were quicker than others, but it works in today's Google. It also works on Bing, but I've built this to seed the field for the future. But you now can use my solution in your business. So please contact me. I'm more than happy to discuss my solution with you. It's not an expensive solution by any means, but it's a solution you can implement. You have control over it. And for people that love their business and want their business to flourish, it's a very, very easy step forward into the AI field. You will start to get a lot of understanding. But let's start at number 1. You have an existing business. The way things are done have changed. Everyone knows they've changed. You need to change. You need to change very quickly. The time is ticking. You need to make a decision. Okay, so thank you again. I hope my information has been interesting and useful for you, and I look forward to catching you in the next one.